Do your friends call you Jace?
Nah, bro, they call me Jizz.
Really?
Yeah.
Actually?
Yeah. Like, legit, all my friends call me Jizz.
Nice.
Because, like, obviously, you remember Ziz?
Yeah.
It's like Jay-Ziz. But obviously, it gets misconstrued quite a lot.
So Jizz with a Y.
Yeah.
Cool.
Or Jizza.
Are you recording? Oh, we got that. Cool.
That's not
that could be a good intro.
But, like, people call me fucking everything, bro. Jace, Jay, I don't know. I respond to everything that starts with a J, basically. Some people call me fucking James.
Just not your name at all.
Yeah. Oh, actually, before we start.
We've already started.
Oh, fuck. Well,
What do you
how
need?
are you with swearing?
Yeah, go nuts.
Cool.
I don't want this podcast. I don't want to act like a different person on this podcast who I am in real life.
Yeah, well, I've kind of got two tones, either like coaching or talking shit.
Yeah, we can hopefully get both.
Do a bit of both, eh?
Well, you mentioned Ziz, and that's a good place to start because a lot of people, like, their first interaction with physical culture or like their first memory of wanting to lift is from Ziz. Do you remember yours? Like an image in your mind that made you want to like pursue strength?
Australian icons is, bro.
Was it Ziz actually?
Nah. So there's kind of a few things I reckon, eh? So my first exposure to like physical culture was through my dad. He always coached, I guess I'll call it rugby league because you get confused with footy, right?
Well, I call it footy, but
You call league footy?
people listening might think footy's AFL, but yeah, I call it league footy.
So my dad always coached rugby league when I was younger. And like those are sort of memories that it's not like I was something interested in, but I was always around it. So involved in like that sort of environment, team environment, the culture of like working hard for something, I guess. So those are kind of my first exposures, but as it developed, I did get a lot more interested in like, oh, like you'd watch a game of footy, like, damn, that guy looks strong, or damn, that guy looks jacked. So it's like, it's more so like I became interested in that side of things as opposed to like the actual sport. Like I played rugby basically like my whole high school life, and I never really liked it that much. You know, I was always, like, I was kind of forced into it in a way.
Because you're in New Zealand.
Yeah, well, and like my dad is a big like rugby league guy, so where I lived, I couldn't, like, there was no place to play rugby league. So it kind of pushed me into rugby as a like close enough sort of scenario. And yeah, and like I guess it's like an extremely popular thing in New Zealand as well. So I don't like kind of being told what to do. So that kind of put me off it a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that was sort of my first exposure to that, like just the physical side of things.
So you don't like being told what to do, and now you spend your career telling people what to do?
That's why I'm uncoachable, bro. Straight up. Straight up.
Was there any players, because like the guest who I had on last week, Robbie, his first memory of like someone he looked up to with physical culture was actually Luke McAllister, the New Zealand rugby player.
Yeah, bro. Luke
Do you
McAllister
do you
had some
have-
quads on him. Do you remember Luke McAllister?
Yeah, I do. He had a stick haircut as well. Do you have a player who you like first remember?
Well, the one that's coming to my mind, funnily enough, is probably like Cooper Cronk.
Oh yeah.
Like I remember him being like pretty jacked.
Mm.
Like, you know, like he's a bit of a nuggety
Yeah,
dude.
short and stout.
Yeah, and I was like, damn, that dude's jacked. Like, I would love to be jacked like that. And he's a pretty good looking dude as well.
Handsome.
Handsome fella. So yeah, probably Cooper Cronk, to be honest. And like when I played rugby, I played half. So like I was always like, I kind of followed that position a little bit more. Plus he was just awesome as well.
Yeah. So how'd that sort of first image of like being like, oh, that guy's pretty jacked, how'd that then turn into a love for lifting and then eventually coaching?
That's a good point. I think like originally I just joined the gym because I was like, I want to get bigger. I think I should get bigger for footy because I was a skinny dude. Like I was like 60 kilos. Like I played under 60 kilos for like the first 2 years of high school. And I just felt like that was the right thing to do. I think the idea of lifting weights seemed pretty cool. And yeah, so I just kind of got stuck into it. and it really just became something that was way more interesting than actually playing the game itself. Like I said before, I didn't love playing footy. Like, it was all good, and like it's nice to hang out with your mates and stuff, but I found that like what I could get out of the gym was a lot more of like an objective result. Like, you would gain weight, that's a number. You get stronger, that's a number. Whereas like you play a game of footy and you come off the field and, one day you feel like you played like shit and someone's like, oh, you played really good. And you're like, really? Like, I feel like that's pretty subjective. Or you'd be the opposite. You feel like you played really good and no one gives you a compliment. You're like, damn, I thought I played really good. Whereas like you know what the output is that you get. Sorry, that's the wrong way of saying it. But like, that there's a tangible result from the input that you put in the gym.
And no one needs to tell you that.
Yeah, you don't need to be told.
Yeah,
You can see it. It's obvious. And I think that's what really drew me to going to the gym. And actually, now that I think about it, that's actually what drew me to playing cricket as well. Like, I played a lot of cricket, and that was probably my favorite sport, actually, was cricket.
Because it's an individual sport,
Well,
masked,
you got
masked
stats,
in a team
right?
sport.
It's numbers based. And, like, how well you did. And, like, again, I wasn't great at it. But I found that side of things really fun.
That actually really surprises me because, I mean, we've only known each other for a few weeks, but you're very similar to me in that you're very social and like, you'll just like chat with anyone and stuff. And that seems to me like someone who would be suited to team sports, to a team sport environment where you make a tackle for the guy next to you and you run the footy for the guy next to you and stuff like that. It surprises me.
Yeah.
Because most people who are drawn to sort of an individual goal, they don't necessarily love being around other people.
I think what it is, bro, is like, I'm just not that aggressive. I'm not very competitive. Like, I love the environment and like the team culture. Like, I'm the first dude down at the footy club having a beer, like after the game, even though I didn't play, Whereas like when I'm on the field, like I just didn't have the instinct in me to like hurt someone or to like be really aggressive. Like, and like, it's the same thing in powerlifting, right? Like, I am the type of guy that will come fourth instead of third because like I want to hit a PB. I just don't really care about beating other people. Like, I guess you could say I do it to beat myself, but like I feel like that's pretty cliche and I don't even know if that's really the case. I would rather take the more logical decision and not end up beating someone because, I don't know, just like I don't care to win.
That's also surprising to me as well because like now you've coached New Zealand team.
Coaching is completely different.
And are those two, do you not see that those two things like kind of wired the same? Because like I'm the most competitive person ever. Like I want to beat everyone at everything and I want all my lifters to beat everyone at everything. And I see them both as like quite similar.
So I had this conversation actually with someone not all that long ago. And I think for me, the two are kind of different. Like I see myself as a lot more competitive when I'm coaching. However, in powerlifting, I think that not lack of desire, but not having that like need to win, I think that actually helps me be a lot more objective as a coach and when I'm choosing numbers. So I don't get caught up in the bullshit of like, you need to hit this, that, and the other thing, and we're going to chase this so hard that you get injured or, we end up making only one squat because we ended up opening up so heavy. I can be like, hey, let's not get caught up in that shit right now. And let's just like take what's in front of us, focus on us. So I think having that kind of less competitive mindset actually is kind of valuable in a way when coaching powerlifting.
But I think in that respect, the way that I look at it is like you're making those decisions in order to be the most competitive.
Yeah.
In order to keep someone in it for the longest. So like in my mind, that's like a
bit of an oxymoron.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It is. It totally is. But I think having the like objectivity, because it's so easy to, and this is where I see a lot of like coaches go astray, is where they just get caught up in the emotion of numbers. Whereas like I feel like I can remove myself from that a little bit because I'm not trying to be like ultra competitive at each given point
Yeah,
within
yeah,
the meet.
Yeah. You sort of save your
Yeah.
you save your time in a training block
Yeah.
for when you need it. You save your time in the
Yeah.
meet for when you need it. You make the right
Exactly,
decision
bro.
at the time.
Yeah.
Push when you need to. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that it's an interesting way of looking. I mean, you never really think about this shit much, but like, you know, it is. I think that is what kind of like helps me to be a bit more rational on the day.
So how'd the coaching process start for you? Did you do your exercise science degree like right out of school?
Nah, bro. So I left school and I was doing like I've been training. So I started in the gym when I was 15. So I'm 32 now. So I've been training for 17 years, pretty much 3 times a week.
Doesn't look like it.
Nah, exactly. This is what you get after 17 years, boys and girls. Albeit not training that hard. So there's that. So, like, I was always going to the gym and stuff. But when I left high school, I mean, I was shit at high school as well. Not the smartest kid on the block. But I did, like, just a Bachelor of Arts degree. So I was, like, major was in, I think, geography and English. Basically got 2 years into that, dropped out of it. And at that time, I was like super into the gym and like YouTube and like going into like things like, I'm going to age myself here quite a lot, but like watching a lot of like Matt Ogus.
This is the same
Hodge
era.
Twins.
This is the same era as me when I
Yeah.
got into it. Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
all that sort of
20,
stuff.
2011, 2012.
Like Strength Camp. Remember that guy? He
Yeah,
went
yeah.
crazy.
Elliot Hulse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was just like really into that, and I spent all my spare time doing that and not studying for my exams and stuff. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna like, you know, I'm actually really interested in this stuff. I think this is a sort of career path I'd like to go down. And to be fair, at the time, it wasn't like, oh, I want to help people. It was like, I just want to get bigger and stronger myself. And I probably put way too much energy into educating myself when I should have been putting it into actually training hard.
This is exactly the same story as me, dude.
Really?
Like, I went into a commerce degree, got a year and a half into it, and my
Yeah.
mum sat me down and she's
Actually?
like, yeah, my mum sat me down and she's like, you are like, you don't
You're an
care.
idiot.
You don't care about this at all.
Yeah.
Like, you're just doing commerce because you did it at school and you did well at school.
Yeah.
And you're spending all your free time on YouTube and
100%.
training and trying to help your mates. Like, why don't you just go into fitness? And I was like, you know what? That's a very fair point.
So what did you do after that? Did you do a qualification? Or
Oh yeah, I went straight into TAFE to do my certs.
How long was that?
You can do it online now in like 6 weeks, but I did the 1 semester for Cert 3, 1 semester for Cert 4. So it was a year.
Oh, yeah,
And
that's pretty
then-
decent. Like that's you're not just getting a 6-week thing.
Yeah,
full
yeah,
year,
no, it
that's
was
good.
good. We had like a gym in the TAFE that we
Yeah.
went down and did practice
What's
stuff.
TAFE? TAFE is like tech, right?
TAFE's like
More skill based.
uni for like trade.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like what we were just talking to John about when he was teaching at TAFE, he was teaching like baking at TAFE.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Sorry, interrupted you.
No, that's all right. I asked you the question. So yeah, I did that basically. I did a PT course, which was more of like a 3-month thing. Basically, I walked away from that being like, wow, I know absolutely nothing, and that taught me fuck all. So
Everyone who I talk to who wants to get into PT, I always tell them to do an in-person one
yeah,
because like you actually get a lot
Yeah.
get a lot out of it.
yeah, this was in person, the one that I did.
Oh yeah.
Which was good. It was actually like, it was a good course, but it was really just set you up more business wise, and like it taught you a few exercises, and like, you know, to be fair, I reflect on that as well, and I'm like, actually, they probably taught us all we need to know. But like at that time, I was like, I want to know the intricacies of periodization. I want to know all the exercises that you can do, and I want to know all these specifics,
Yeah.
which I probably didn't need to know, and things that I don't use now.
Well, I found like I was going down rabbit holes about programming and about like specific like nutrition and stuff like that. There's like really, really niche for like bodybuilding and physique and strength. And then when I got to my Cert 3 course, I didn't know like the basic biology.
Yeah.
So like I knew like all this advanced stuff, but none of the basic stuff.
Yeah. See, like they kind of taught us that sort of stuff, like the basic bio. I mean, to be fair, the biology stuff is like, how much of that do you need to know? Like the anatomy and physiology. Probably spent way too much time on that. But yeah, I did that. It was all good. Started working in a gym. I just got a job behind the desk. I did that for like, I think I was doing that and working at a bar at the same time. So I was kind of doing 2 jobs, but I was just doing that like on the weekends. It's like shitty ass, like 12-hour shifts. Like I think I would do like 6 till 6. Nah, it was like 8 till 6, 10-hour shifts on Saturday, and then sometimes Sunday. And that was just my first introduction into it. And that was all good. Like, you meet people, you learn how other people kind of conduct themselves within the gym and all that sort of stuff. And then after that, it was like, okay, this is great, working behind the desk. I ended up doing it full time, pretty much, I think. And then, I was still in this, like, I don't know anything, which annoyed me. And, like, I was researching all this stuff online, but I was like, I think I need to get a formal education here. And, like, I had actually a really good sort of mentor at the gym. His name was Dino. And, like, he gave me the in a little bit to some stuff at the place that I studied. Like, we weren't actually, like, going in and learning anything, but he was coaching. He was a strength and conditioning coach for, like, the local rugby team. And I was basically just, like, interning for him. He wasn't paying me anything, but it was just like come along.
Set up the
6 o'clock in the morning.
water.
Yeah, help me just do whatever you need. So I would just, and it was lifting as well. Like, it was the strength and conditioning, the strength part of things. So I just went along that and helped out where I could. And at the time, actually, I was also like training rugby league as well. So I guess I'll give you that kind of context. Like, my brother coaches rugby league, and he still does. And basically, he needed a trainer, so I did that, like running the water, doing the fitness drills, doing some sort of strength stuff in the off season and things like that. And I did that for about 5 or 6 years as well, alongside all of this. But that's kind of besides the point. But this guy was helping out with that, and then he was like, "Man, you should probably like go and study here, because like if you want to do this stuff long term, like what I'm doing, like he's like, it would have been a lot easier for me to do it if I had a qualification." So went in, got a degree in sport and exercise, and again found myself in a position where I was like, oh, I don't really know if this is enough, and then I ended up doing a master's as well. So I'm doing that currently. So that's kind of like the educational side of things, I guess.
Yeah. So when did you actually formally start coaching powerlifters?
Probably, so I started competing myself in 2014. And then I think I started coaching in about 2018.
Oh, really?
2017, maybe? Like, it was like a gradual thing, right? Like most powerlifting coaches do. It was like a couple of people know that you're a PT, and they see you at competitions and like, oh, can you help me out? Or you offer to help out a friend or whatever. So I was doing that from probably like, and I always coached my brother, and we competed together. And I think like when I formally like, I don't know, it would have been 2017, because I like formally was like, I'm going to start online coaching when I got my degree. And that was 2017 is when I got my undergrad. So formally from then, but probably actually started around 2016-ish with mates and stuff. But it was a good time to get in, bro. Like such a good time to get in, just because there were no coaches. And like I definitely got lucky in that respect. Like, you probably feel a sense of the same. Like, it was we started in like the time where there was no coaches, but we're in the sort of industry as well. So it allowed us to have that experience, albeit minimal, and that like kind of the knowledge within the area as well. So I think that the combination of that really allowed me to kind of get a good head start and kind of just build my business from there.
And now you've coached like one of the best lifters in the world in Evie. Well, I want to talk about Sheffield.
Yeah, bro. Talk about it. I love it.
Tell me what it was like, because I've heard some recounts and I've seen videos from the crowd. It looked wild. Evie herself said it was like a rock concert. Did it live up to the hype? Because it was built up from 2020, then got cancelled, and then got cancelled again.
Yeah.
Did it live up to like what everyone was expecting it to be?
I mean, I'm biased, right? Because I had a great experience. Obviously, we won. So I think that skews my opinion. But everything that I had expected to happen, it was way better. And I know like the live stream wasn't perfect and stuff, and like there were a few issues with that, but like the in-person experience was fucking crazy. So I'm kind of shit at preparing myself for stuff. It's kind of like when I moved to Sydney, I actually like got here and I was like, oh shit, I'm in Sydney. Oh, sorry. Like I'm just not, I don't prepare myself for things very well, like mentally. And I was not in any way prepared for what it would be like when we walked out onto the stage. All I was thinking about was like, get these warm-ups right, like how's Evie going, all the stuff you do when you're coaching. And then when we went out there, I was like, holy fucking shit. Like, I almost shit myself, bro. It was the most wild experience, like, I've ever had. Like, obviously, I've never been on a stage, but I could imagine, like, if you were, like, a rock star or whatever, that's exactly what it would feel like. And, I mean, I'm just coaching. Like, I'm walking out, but I'm just standing there. Like, fuck knows what it was like for Evie. But like, how loud it was, I did not expect that. Like, all the lights were off, and, like, obviously the spotlights were on the stage. It was awesome, bro. Like, it was, that's the sort of thing that I was like, you stand there and you're like, this is the shit that I want to do for the rest of my life.
Yeah, and it's, there's been lots of chat over the last sort of 5 years about, like, what can we do to make, powerlifting grow, and, like, how can we get money into it? And a lot of people are skeptical because it's not the best spectator sport.
Yeah.
But then when something like this happens, it's like, oh shit, maybe it actually is.
Well, so what did you think?
Well,
Did you watch it?
I got up.
It was in the middle of the night, eh?
It was in the middle of the night. So
It would have been like 3 a.m. here or something?
So I flicked it on for the deadlifts, like before I went for my morning walk. So it was like around 7 a.m. or something like that.
Yeah.
And I flicked it on, and I only watched the men's deadlifts. And it looked crazy. And I was like looking at all the attempts and stuff, and I was like, okay,
fan,
who's gonna win? Who's gonna win this? Yeah, I wasn't really that interested. But when I went back and rewatched the whole thing, and it looked like, obviously you said, in person it was crazy. It looked crazy on the stream.
But the thing is, the stream did not give off enough of like the atmosphere, bro, at all. Like,
is that not the same for every sporting event though?
Yeah,
like
totally, 100%.
Yeah.
But like, you go to a footy game. Sorry, you watch a footy game. They pan to the crowd. Like, I wish they'd done more of that because the crowd was nuts, bro.
Because I've seen the videos that Joey Flex posted.
Yeah, like if you
of
look
like
at some of the videos.
Yeah, it looked insane from the crowd.
Like there's like a video that SBD put up, or it was like SBD like Thailand or something, put up a montage of the competition not long after, and that was like, that really represented what it was like being there. And like, the thing is, like, talking to people after who were just there watching, they were like, holy shit, that was way better than I anticipated. But I think it was built, it's not just built, I mean, I don't want to like take any credit away from SBD or anything, but it was because there was such a build up for it, and like everyone was so excited to see it, like that energy you could feel in the crowd.
Do you think it was almost better because we had 2 cancelled or 3 cancelled?
Yes,
you
100%.
think so? So you don't think next year will be the same?
It's hard to say because now that gave SBD or Sheffield or whatever you want to call it really good momentum, and now there's like the anticipation and the excitement is built upon that. So it's like this compounding thing.
Yeah, snowball effect.
Yeah. So I think that obviously it was shit that it got cancelled in 2020, but maybe in the long run that's actually been beneficial. But yeah, man, it was so cool. Like,
do you think they could do similar stuff with the production for like a World Championships? Because all of the Worlds that I've seen, I've never been to Worlds, but I've been to a few internationals before, and it's actually quite dull because the crowds aren't great. It's usually just competitors who haven't lifted or who have yet to lift.
So I think that really depends on where it is. Like, I've been to 2 World Championships, 2018 in Calgary and 2023 in Malta. And both those were packed, and the atmosphere was actually really good. So, the thing is, like, a lot of people say, oh, it's just competitors and people that are watching and their families. And it's like, yeah, the stands were full in Malta. That whole volleyball court was full in Calgary. Like, I get that is the case, but it's also a full house. And it's actually a good environment. I think when it turns to shit is when you have it somewhere like Belarus.
Yeah.
And like all people want to do after they lift is go home. Or like, even like Sweden, I think, was crap because like the way it was like laid out, it just wasn't like the stands weren't close or anything like that. I mean, I'm only hearing secondhand, but I think it kind of depends on where it's at. But in terms like actually answering your question and like whether they could do things like that for Worlds, I don't know, man. I don't think they should.
I think they need to do a better job hyping up the matchups.
Yeah.
because that's something that they did really well for Sheffield was like highlight each of the individuals,
Yeah.
tell a bit of their backstory, because that's what all the best sports do, right? Like we watch rugby league, we know all about Reece Walsh and
Yeah.
all about Adam
Grub.
Reynolds and all like we know about Nathan Cleary because
Oh, Nathan Cleary used to, like my brother used to coach Nathan Cleary.
oh wow, that's actually crazy.
So he played for like the rugby league club that I coached at, well, I trained at, and like my dad's a life member of. That's where Nathan was playing when he was in New Zealand.
Oh, when his dad was playing
and Steve
there.
Price's boy too,
Oh,
Riley.
That's super cool.
Yeah. So Paul coached both of them, my brother.
Anyway, back to my point.
Sorry.
Come on, bro.
Footy chat.
Like we know about these players because Fox Sports hypes them up, and the NRL, you know, gets
Build
us
storylines.
gets us interested by building storylines, and that's what they did with Sheffield.
Yeah.
Like I think they need to do a better job with that with World Championships. It's like the USAPL have even started doing it with their nationals and stuff.
Yeah.
This guy versus this guy, you know.
You'll see like it's progressed. Like the IPF themselves are doing more media, and like they actually had like this year they had like a post comp like press conference area. So like the winner or maybe the top two would go and like have a chat with Joe Whiteley or Ryan about how it went, which was really good. But yeah, I mean it can definitely be better. It's just like who does it, you know, like who runs that, like who pushes that. And I think you could say, you know, IPF media is like the obvious answer, but I don't know, man. Like this is how I look at it, right? SBD and Sheffield, that's like your what's the word? Like your rock concert. Like that's your showcase event. That's the word I'm looking for. Whereas like the World Championships, that's like your Olympic event. Like that's the formal event that it's not about the flair, it's not about the lights, it's not about the music. It's literally about like going there and getting the job done and winning. I'm totally gonna forget what I was saying. I'm so sorry. No, you're right, bro. We good?
What were you saying?
Sweet. So I was saying like I think they're very different and they have their own place in powerlifting. Like I remember thinking this year, I was like leading into like after Sheffield, there's kind of this fucking weird feeling of like, oh yeah, this is great, but we haven't won a world championship. And I was like, I feel like the world championship's going to be the big thing because we need to tick that off. And then we kind of got to Worlds, and Evie was like, both Evie and I were like, fuck, this is weird. This is like real chill compared to Sheffield. And then like that didn't feel like as important as Sheffield, whereas like we win Sheffield and we're like, oh, we still need to win a world championship. And then you win the world championship and you're like, that wasn't really the same as Sheffield. So it's kind of this weird thing. I guess it doesn't really add anything to my point. But I think they're two very different things, and I don't think we want to see the world championship be just like Sheffield. I think it's, you know, at the end of the day, right, the world championships, that's a product for the IPF to sell to the Olympics. And I know no one wants that. You know, that's a pipe dream, all that bullshit. But that's what it is. And let's just be honest, that's what they're trying to do. And if you jazz it up too much, that's going to compromise that, I think.
There's already enough compromising that dream, though.
Yeah, I know. I mean, where do you want to start, right? But that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah. Like, I understand all of that, but I feel like if we compare it to the Olympics, like, we know who's running in the 100 meter men's and the 100 meter women's. Like, we know who these characters are because World Athletics has put them in front of us. And when it gets to...
Do they, though?
Yeah.
Through what medium?
Through social media.
Oh, well, I actually don't know.
Yeah, like if you obviously you don't follow athletics, but we know who these characters are when we go to watch the 100 meter final or the 100 meter heats. I feel like there's too much unknown with the way that the IPF cover it. Like there was all these world records broken at juniors before, and I've never heard of any of these people.
Yeah,
like maybe I'm living under a rock.
But it's hard to keep up with it these days, bro.
But also, like, we should know about this stuff. Like, we should know that Taylor Atwood is up against this guy and this guy.
I mean, they do like small posts, but like, how would you do it? Like video based stuff. Like, let's just say I was like, here you go, bro. You are IPF media leading into Open Worlds. What would you do?
I'd probably do similar to what they did with Sheffield, where they each got like an individual video made about them. I'd probably get like the top 5 from each weight class.
Yeah.
And build some storylines and some suspense.
You can
And
definitely do that with how stacked classes are now.
yeah, 100%. And like maybe you pick 7 from one class and 3 from another class if those aren't as stacked. But I think like that kind of thing draws interest. If people see that, they go, "Oh, I wonder how this guy's going. I'm gonna flick it on. Wonder how this guy's going. Oh, I'm on team this." Like King of the Lifts does it, right?
Yeah.
Where they're like, "I'm with team such and such," and
Yeah.
they try and like get people to share it, and that builds the hype. But I think it needs to be coming from the IPF as well.
Yeah, it would put them in a better limelight too if they were to drive that stuff more, as opposed to independent media doing it.
Yeah, I do think that the IPF has hesitation with like making it about the lifter rather than making it about the federation, because it's always seemed to be like, we're the IPF.
Yeah,
we
they
don't
want,
need
like,
we don't need to
self-promotion.
do this other stuff
Yeah.
because we're the IPF.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I mean, I will say, like, alongside kind of what you were mentioning, there is independent media that do a really good job of it. Like King of the List do a good job of promoting it. And I think it's good to have those sources. Like, what's the other one? Two White Lights, they do a great job of it as well. So I think that really adds to it. So, I mean, even just like as a side thought, building that side of things as well.
Yeah,
I
but like
think
the
is
IPF
valuable.
could go, hey, like Ryan
Yeah.
from King of the Lifts, like we want you to be the guy who gets this going.
Yeah. Well,
They
he
don't
was originally, that, eh? He used
Yeah.
to run the IPF page.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I
Like
didn't-
back in like
Didn't know that.
2016 or something like that. Yeah, 2016. He used to run that page. Yeah, they're doing a good. Like they're getting there, like with their media team. But I 100% get what you mean. Like, here's an idea, right, that I have that I really want them to do for Sheffield, which there's no way Pete's listening, but listen up, mate. Pete Spence, that is. Do you ever watch UFC?
I don't, but
Why not?
Because my thing with sport, this is going to sound so stupid.
Give it to me, bro.
My thing with sport is like,
There's no ball. It's
if
not a
I'm
sport.
no, that's not it at all. That's not it at all. It's if I'm not all in,
Yeah.
I'm not in at all.
Okay. That's fair.
So like I follow the NBA,
Yeah.
like, so close.
Yeah.
But I don't follow the Australian Basketball League at all.
Yeah.
Because like it requires too much for me to be fully in.
Yeah.
So like for me, I've only got the capacity to follow a couple of sports as closely as I want to. And that means for me like reading about it every day, playing fantasy, all of it. Like
You're
the whole
all
thing.
in.
I'm all in.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna sort of like dip my toes in because I feel like
And you're like, do I have room for another sport?
well, I don't. I straight up don't. But I feel like I'm an uninformed viewer when I
Yeah.
watch the UFC. I've the only 3 fights I've ever bought are Conor McGregor fights.
Yeah. Well, that was what I
Because
used
he's
to be like.
but
as
he's
well.
a draw card.
I'm a pretty casual fan when it comes to UFC. But the good thing about it is like you can watch it and you know what's going on because they're beating the shit out of each other.
Yeah, it's very simple.
It's simple to understand. But what I was going to say is like what they do, like leading up to like a UFC card, so like their main cards, is they have like an embedded series, which is basically the week of the time that the athletes get to and even like kind of beforehand as well, but get to the hotel venue. They follow them around with a camera and then they just like film the stuff the week of, and then they talk to them about how the prep's gone. Well, not prep, but like their fight camp's gone.
Camp, yeah.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it. And basically, like you just get to get a really good idea of who they are and what they've kind of been through and how they're feeling going into the fights. And like outside of that, like that's like all I watch before a UFC fight. And that gives you so much to like watch when you're going into it.
And that's exactly what I
Yeah.
mean by the videos.
Yeah,
Of like,
and that's what I'm saying. Like, I
Yeah.
think like if like going into Sheffield, like if they did just because we get there like 4 days beforehand, right? If they were just to have, even follow around like 1 or 2 people per day, I think that would make such a difference. Just in like you're watching that throughout the week, and I know it would be a lot of work for like the SBD media team because you got to like edit a video on the day and upload it. But fuck, I reckon that would make build such good hype around it.
Yeah, because it gives everyone all they need, all the information that they need to go into the event
Yeah.
and feel somewhat informed.
That's all you need to know is like, oh, I know this guy. He was saying that he's hurt his shoulder or whatever. And like, how's that gonna go? It's just like it builds storylines around it. Well, something that really actually pissed me off going into Sheffield was everyone stopped posting,
I hate that so much.
bro. And it's just like you realize, and I've gone on about this on social media before, but like
No, I want to hear it.
it's just, I think if you are an elite level lifter, you almost have an obligation to be posting going into an event like that, because that's how we know what's happening. Like, how's your training been going? If they're just fully ghosting social media, it's like, okay, cool. Well, I guess we'll support you, but I've got no point of reference to what you might do or what you've done in training. And it's just like, I think that killed a lot of like the storylines around Sheffield this year, was people just like being like, nah, I'm not going to post anything.
It's hard to build that interest when you're not seeing it all the time.
Yeah.
And
Like, do you remember 2016 Worlds like Hack versus Gibbs?
yes,
Yeah, I mean, everyone always talks about this, but like the back and forth on social media with that was fucking elite.
yeah, it built the hype for
Yeah.
that rivalry. And that's what I mean by like what we could do for Worlds.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like you have, four
Yeah.
or five people who are competing.
Well, if they're
for
not going to do
podium,
it, get IPF to do it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I think like,
But I also think that like if you feel like you're getting some sort of advantage from not posting your lifts on social media, I think that's also a fool's errand as well.
oh, you're an idiot. If you
Yeah.
think. Like, I think I might have even said this to you, but I think the only thing, well, not quite, but like the only thing that was very valuable to know about another lifter is like how and when they fail their third deadlift. Outside of that, you like, cool, you know what they're going to squat. Cool, you know what they're going to bench. Can't do anything about it.
Exactly right.
But like when you're picking a number to potentially beat them or push them too far, knowing what their third deadlift looks like and where they fail is a valuable thing to have.
Yeah, I've said this before, but this isn't a sport where you're competing to only one of you can squat. Like
Yeah.
you're not like put 10 meters on either side of the platform and there's a gun that says go, and then you have to race them to the
That'd be
platform,
good,
and then the winner gets to actually do the squat. Like that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So like to think that you have some control, like they don't have the ball and you're not tackling them. Like thinking that you have some control over someone else's lifts it's just ridiculous.
I think you get like a lot of like really data focused, massive powerlifting fan, nerdy coaches, and they just want to know. They just want to know. They're like, what are they going to do? What do they usually jump? What do they do? And they go through and crunch all these numbers. And I think, fuck, good on them. But like to think that that's giving you this huge competitive advantage, I think is just not the one.
I agree. You
Like-
can't.
Sorry, go on.
When you scout someone's lifting, you can't possibly. I said this on the podcast with Rory. You can't possibly come up with a plan for every single outcome
Yeah.
because there are way too many outcomes.
And also, like, if you know what they're going to do, what does that change what you do?
Doesn't
Like,
mean
you
you
still
can
do
do
as
more.
much as you can.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you can do any
Yeah.
more. Your goal is to squat, bench, and deadlift as much as you can.
And to like legitimately bring this full circle, going into Sheffield, I did no scouting. Like all I did was because I knew like I think we'll probably have to beat Noemi here. Was like I'll need to see like what her deadlift looks like, and like I watched a few of her previous performances just to get a gauge of what that looks like, and like I looked at her other lifts as well, of course, but like all I was doing was like, let's just make as many lifts as possible and then try win it on the day based on what's happening on the day, not what happened like, in the past or whatever.
And also, you were in the position where Evie was like first in every lift, right?
yeah.
So like you don't even have the control to pick.
Yeah, exactly.
You just have to do the total, the most
Yeah.
that you can do, the most kilos that you can do, and then hope that no one can beat it.
I actually
Because-
thought that was advantageous.
yeah, and because that didn't alter your decision making at all.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, we put up this total, good, beat me, and
Yeah.
no one could beat you.
I think that, like, I said that actually before we even went into the comp. I was like, this is going to be an advantage because everyone's going to be overthinking it. It's super hard to calculate. We're just going to put up a total and say beat us.
Well, that's kind of the next point I want to talk about was the scoring system.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the scoring system? And would you actually, explain the scoring system for everyone? Because there's probably
Yeah,
people
true, it's a bit novel.
who don't know what it is. And then, I want to hear your opinion on it.
So for Sheffield, the way that the overall is scored is what you total. The total you put up is crunched into a percentage of the current world record. So, for example, Evie totaled 460. The previous world record was 438, and she totaled 105% of the world record. So it's all done on that for the overall, with the idea being that everything's focused around world records. That's what they want to push. So the overall ranking comes down to how much over, or I guess under, the current world record you are.
Yeah, what percentage of your total is the current world record?
Yeah.
So like if the world record total is 500
Yeah.
and you do 550, your score would be 110.
I have no
If
idea.
you do 450, your score would be 90.
I'm not good at maths.
Well, I'm telling you, that's right.
Sounds about right. That's what I have a calculator for. So my thoughts on it, like, I don't know, bro. I don't have a lot. You tell me. You start.
Well, I think it's disadvantageous for lifters in the middle classes because
They're more populous.
they're more populous,
Yeah.
which means the records are probably more likely to have been achieved by an outlier, which means it's probably more likely to not be broken than something like the super heavyweight, which was broken, the men's, and the 52 class in the women's, which was broken. So I think there's a little bit of a disadvantage to those lifters in the middle, but I don't really have an alternate suggestion, to be honest.
Yeah, so that was kind of what I was thinking as well. I think the point you just made is 100% true, and is 100% why we went down to 52.
Well, yeah, that was going to be my next question, but keep going on the scoring system first.
So I think I like the idea of it, right? It's like, let's break world records. Whereas,
Let's see who can break them by the most.
And like, if you look at the way that the payouts are distributed, it's like you could almost break, so it'd be like £15,000 for breaking 3 world records, and you'd almost get as much as the winner. So like the individual records themselves actually pay out quite a lot. So I just like that the emphasis is on that as opposed to like getting a IPF points or dots or whatever. So I think that side of things is good. But yeah, it really does lend itself to making it harder for those classes, even just like classes with outliers in it, such as like the 59 kilos with like Sergey Fedoshenko's. Like no one's ever going to beat that.
Yeah.
Well, no one's going to beat it for a long time. And even if they do, they're probably not going to win Sheffield because it's so high already. So I think there's definitely flaws in it that way, but I don't know. I don't know if there's a better way of doing it. Whenever you've got, like, look at it like this, right? Whenever you've got people across multiple weight classes, it's always going to be super hard to compare them. At least what we're really looking at here is like, let's just smash some fucking world records. And this year, they're actually bringing in a payout for beating the total world record as well, which I think is great.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
They didn't have that last year, and I think that's a kind of a bit of a flaw in the payouts. So you could walk away with 20,000 pounds and not even like place in the top 3. And I think that's fucking awesome because that says, hey, look, you're in a shitty weight class and you're not going to be able to get any money. Like, you know, you're not going to be able to place well, but fuck, you can still walk away with 20,000 pounds, and that's a performance people are going to talk about forever.
Yeah.
So I think that is them saying, hey, this points or the placing system's not amazing, but, you know, we just want you to go in and beat world records.
Yeah, we want to incentivize
Yeah.
taking world records for sure.
I think people need to remember it like that. Like you look at, I mean, everyone remembers who won them, but also I think, you know, you want to remember who broke the world records as well.
Yeah. So you alluded to it just before. Obviously, Evie used to be a 57, and you decided that for Sheffield, it would be best it would give her the best chance to win if she cut down to 52.
Yeah.
How was that process, and like who made that decision? And talk me through the whole thing.
It's a bit of a fluke, bro, in a way. She'd probably disagree with me on this one, but like the initial process was a fluke because she'd done Worlds in South Africa. That was actually our first competition working together. Yeah, it was. And we had nationals after that, and I was like, okay, after nationals, we're going to diet down. Because at that point, she'd qualified for Sheffield. So we knew Sheffield was happening. And I was like, after nationals, I'm going to get you down in weight because, like, we're going full noise for Sheffield. And, like, I want you in a pretty decent bulk from like 55 all the way up to about 59. So let's spend this off-season phase dieting, and we had Commonwealths at the end of the year in December. So she dieted all the way to Commonwealths. She got down to like 55 kilos. She weighed in like 55.8, but she lifted in the afternoon. And she'd put up like a 465 total. No, 470 total or something like that, which was like only 6 kilos off what she did at Worlds. And she was like, 4 or 5 kilos lighter. And I was like, okay. And then naturally, we started our Sheffield prep the following week after Commonwealths, and I was like looking at all the numbers. I actually legit like took everyone's best totals and I put them in a spreadsheet and I calculated the percentage that they are over the world record. And like this is the sort of scouting that's probably actually important. So when you're choosing like a weight class and something that's requires a shitload of money, or you could win a shitload of money. So I put all the numbers together. And I was looking at it and I was like, fuck, if she loses 5 kilos, she's still like right up there. It's like she loses 10 kilos, she's still up there, like on her total. And I was like, fuck, I think we need to go to 52. Because I was aware that the 52 world record wasn't great. It was 438 and the 57 was 495 and a half.
Huge difference.
Yeah, a huge difference. And at this time, she's like 55 kilos. And I was like, I don't know if she's going to actually get to 495 and a half. And to be fair, we had kind of pegged it as a bit of a participation event. And then I just was looking at the numbers. I was like, fuck, I think we could do pretty good here if we went to 52. And she's done 52 before. She was a 52 originally. But she's quite tall and she's fucking lean. So I was actually super anxious about posing the idea to her because I hate getting people to cut weight classes. And this is obviously the biggest stage possible, and it could have just turned to shit.
Yeah.
So I sat and dwelled on it for a while, and I actually messaged Kedrick because he you know who Kedrick is. He's a nutritionist, and he's also part of the NZPF. And I was like, bro, what do you think? And I think everyone's kind of and I said a similar thing to Rory as well, but me and Evie both kind of went to him, Rory Lynch that is, and I think they both kind of initially I don't know, but then you show them the numbers and they're like, actually, this could actually work out pretty good.
Even if it didn't go well,
Yeah.
the percentage of her score in Sheffield score would probably still be higher as a 52.
That was the thing it's
it's
like
worst
you're going to
case,
do better.
Yeah, worst case scenario is still an improvement.
Yeah.
But
then again, you are putting, I'm putting her under stress of having to diet, and she doesn't like dieting. I mean, who really does? But especially Evie, she's not really one that is super interested in that sort of shit. She likes her snacks. If anyone follows her, they'd know that. So I didn't want to put her through that, and she wants to get stronger. That was the first thing she said to me when I actually posed it to her. She was like, "I'm in this to get stronger. I'm not here to maintain and get smaller." And then I gave her the breakdown of what happened, and I actually called it. Funnily enough.
Did you say, are you here to make fucking 30 grand or whatever?
Well, I just said to her, look, you could, I was like, yeah, I get what you mean. But I was like, do you want me to tell you how much you could win? And she was like, sure, okay. And I was like, I think you can break the deadlift world record, which is 5,000 pounds. And I think you can win, which is 25,000 pounds. So I was like, under the current conversion rate, you could win, 58,000 New Zealand dollars. And she was like,
oh yeah.
Oh,
sign me up.
She's like, okay, I'll have to think about it. Actually, I think her first response was, let's talk to Rory about it. Because she just wanted another opinion, which is completely fine. And I mean, I did as well, because like I said, I had massive reservations about it. But then you look at what could happen and you're like, fuck, I think we need to do this.
I think you'd do a lot worse than foregoing some snacks for
$58,000, bro.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Yeah. So that was basically how we came to the decision. And we were like, and we always had it in the back of our mind is that hey, if this sucks, dieting's not working, we're hating it, getting weak, we'll just fucking bulk up, go hard on it and lift at 57. We'd talked to SBD and they said, you can weigh in at whatever you want to weigh in. So there was no stipulations around having to nominate a weight class or anything like that.
And did you keep it all quiet? Because I remember when she won,
Yeah.
I had no idea she'd gone down. I remember seeing like, oh, hang on a second, she's gone down.
We kept it quiet, but
So you were just shitting on people for not sharing their training.
it was
and you guys
yeah.
were keeping shit quiet as well.
Yeah, so that is massively contradictory, and I will admit that. But from my perspective, it was not my place to tell people. Anyone that asked me, I told them.
Yeah.
Because, like, for example, Eric Helms, who's my supervisor, he was like, come on, bro. Like, I saw Evie the other day. She's fucking shredded. And I was like, yeah, we're going to 52. And then he was like, oh, okay. And he was coaching someone. So, like, I wasn't withholding the information. But the other thing is like, Evie can be quite an anxious person.
Didn't want the pressure.
And she didn't want the pressure of that. So I respected that. And she just kind of didn't really mention anything. But I mean, bro, she wasn't exactly hiding it. She was like posting videos of her doing accessories and she's like fully shredded. And like, if you know anything about anything, you'd be like, there's no way she's 57 anymore. So like, it was a case of like, yeah, we're not saying it. We're not announcing it.
But it wasn't hidden.
Yeah, but we're also not withholding any information. And she had friends that would ask her and she'd be like, yeah, I'm going down a weight class.
Yeah.
So it was more a case of like, hey, if people don't ask, we won't tell them.
So because of Sheffield now, are you guys going to stay down in the 52 or are you thinking of going back up?
Did you see what she did the other day?
No.
So we did nationals at 55.1 or something like that. I think her morning body was like 54.3 or something. And she totaled 484, which is 24 kilos above what she did at Sheffield, which I was fucking shocked by. So part of me is like, there's probably really good potential here at 57. The girls in 57 are unreal though, bro. Natalie Richards is a freak, and Jade Jacobs like just as good. But I think it's probably in the long term, not for Sheffield. Sheffield will be 52. It makes way too much sense.
Just rack up the cash.
Well, yeah, fuck yeah. Well, we're like in the same situation.
What was your cut?
You know, I'd done one other podcast on this, and they asked me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and both Evie and I were on it. It was so fucking awkward, but it was enough, bro. Enough to get me over here.
Living in Double Bay.
Yeah, living in Double Bay, living the dream. Cover like half a week of rent. But yeah, so we're kind of in the same situation where she did a really good total at a higher body weight, and now we just need to maintain it, which is exactly what happened going to Sheffield last year. And the time frames are almost the same as well.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah, 52.
Rinse and repeat.
Well, the other one is actually World Games is coming up. So do you know much about that?
Is it not equipped?
No.
They changed it.
Yeah. Shall I educate your listeners on it?
Yeah, please.
So,
you know what? Can we take a break? Because I'm busting.
yeah, you look like you're about to piss yourself, mate.
Be right back. Yeah, so
that.
sorry. Tell everyone about the World Games.
Okay, so basically there is, for those of you that don't actually know what the World Games is, there's like an Olympics for the sports that aren't good enough to be in the Olympics.
It's the not Olympics.
Yeah, sure. I've described it in other ways that I won't say on a public recording, but yeah, basically Olympics for sports that aren't good enough to actually make it. They're all like recognized, like powerlifting's recognized by the IOC, but they're not actually part of the IOC.
Stuff that would be on, have you seen the movie Dodgeball?
Yeah.
Stuff that would be on ESPN 8.
Yes, exactly. The Ocho.
Obscure Sports Quarterly.
Yeah. So powerlifting's been in the World Games for as long as I'm aware of, like, you know, a very long time. And this is like it's an every 4-year event. It's exactly the same shit. It's just shit sports. Like powerlifting. And it comes around every 4 years, but it's always been equipped lifting because it's been around a while. And then just recently, so this classic World Championships in Malta, they announced that half of the competition will be classic. So I think it's like, I was reading the qualifying criteria the other day. I can actually bring it up if you give me 5 seconds.
Yeah, go.
I'll bring it up on my phone because I got sent to me because it's actually quite interesting, and I think it's going to be I think it's going to make more waves in the sport than people actually think it will. I know it's like boring kind of Olympics-based stuff, but it's like it's a pretty big event, and once it's like out there, I think people will want to get into it. Okay, so how it works is that they amalgamate the weight classes. So they've got lightweight, middleweight, heavyweight, superweight. And think about it like this. Like for the women's side, 47.52 go together, 57.63, 69.76, so on and so forth. Okay? And then...
So it's 4 weight classes?
Yes, 4 weight classes. And you get...
Did it not used to be 3?
I don't know. I've never watched it because it's equipped and I hate equipped.
I feel like it used to be 3.
Maybe.
But I might be wrong.
So the first, second, and third from each weight class. So if you're looking at the lightweight, 1, 2, and 3 from the 47, and 1, 2, and 3 from the 52 qualify. And then they have...
So that's 1, 2, and 3 in both weight classes in Raw, and then both weight classes in Equipped.
Yeah, they're doing the same thing in Equipped, but the events will be run like differently. And then they have like regional placings and then like a couple of wild card slots as well.
And do they keep the weight classes as the top weight class of the 2, or do they like make it even lower?
So, what do you mean?
Because like if it's the 47 and the 52 class,
yeah,
would it not be fair on the 47s if they made it like the 49 or the 50 kilo class?
Well, it's done on points,
so you can weigh in at whatever.
Yeah. So you can weigh in whatever. Actually, that's a good point. I never really thought about weighing in, but the remaining open slots. Yeah, so it's scored on. I actually don't think if it mentions the scoring system, and this is all about qualifying. But historically, it's been scored off a coefficient. So yeah, you could weigh in at whatever you wanted. Like it doesn't matter. Which now that I think about it, we'll probably weigh in over 52, because 52 is probably a little bit light for Evie.
But would you not have to then still be in that low weight? There'd still be a weight limit for that.
Yeah,
lightweight
you'd have
class.
to be.
Yeah,
true.
There'd still be a weight limit for that lightweight.
Yeah, no,
class.
you're right. You could be lighter than
up to 52.
Yeah, good point. So we won't be doing that at all. Yeah, so 47 and 52. I don't know. It doesn't actually say anything about this. Is all about qualifying, so I don't know how they're going to score it or what they'll do once it actually gets nominated, or like the scoring system comes out. But anyway, basically, it's like a bigger event, where you're going to a place where there's a whole lot of other sports, and you'll stay in like an athlete
village
and all this stuff, which I think will be awesome. So we would stay. We want to stay. Evie and I want to stay at 52 for that. So that would probably be. I mean, after that, I think. Yeah, there's a lot of decisions that she probably has to make life-wise. I've talked to her about this, but whether she continues to compete at that level, like for as long as she wants, or like whether she goes 57, that would kind of be dependent on how like. It would be contingent after what happens in World Games. So we'll kind of just get that out of the way first and then go from there.
That'd be pretty cool if you could, knock over Sheffield, World Championships, Sheffield again, World Games, and just get like all the accolades.
Yeah, and that's why we don't really want to look past that right now. It's I mean, it's a hard slog, man.
I guess it also depends on what happens to like the 57 kilo records and what happens to the other girls in that class.
And like who's there and what you want to do. But I think it's tough doing all that. Like even this year, she's done Commonwealths in December. She ran the event as well. Sheffield in March, Worlds in June, Nationals in August. It's like it's a lot, man. So I think. Yeah, there'll be a lot of sort of decisions we have to make after World Games, but that's the plan for now, is get up there and then we'll kind of make a call.
Yeah. So this kind of is a good segue to the next topic, which was the success of New Zealand powerlifting in the IPF recently. What do you sort of attribute this to?
Good leadership. There's a lot of things, bro, honestly. The thing that comes to my mind, I got two main things. Number one is, like, obviously we had the split, like you guys had. You didn't really have a split though, eh? It just kind of everyone went PA and stayed with PA originally?
Mostly. There was like a few people who went with APU when it opened.
Yeah.
But they were
that
most
took a while to actually establish APU, right?
they were mostly people. No, it established right away. But the
Okay.
people in that first year who were with APU were mostly people who were interested in going to Worlds.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was
So it's like very limited.
the rest of the people kind of decided that the local and the national stuff was more important to them than the Worlds.
Yeah. So kind of unlike you guys, we had like in 2018, we actually had an AGM at our nationals where Robert Wilkes came and Robert Keller came, and Robert Wilkes sold World Powerlifting, and Robert Keller
tried to sell
World Powerlifting, and Robert Keller basically tried to sell the IPF. And all our members or everyone that was there voted on whether we stay with the IPF or we go to World Powerlifting. It was a landslide for IPF in the end. You know, I don't want to go into that too much, but eventually so that caused a split, and all the people who were in leadership at the time wanted to go to World Powerlifting. So they were like, cool, you guys want to do that? We're leaving. Like, we don't want to be affiliated with the IPF anymore. So as shit as it was at the time, because there wasn't a lot of transition, you know, usually like if you have people in leadership, you want to be able to help the next person in, where it was like, cool, bye. So that didn't exactly help in that respect. But what it did allow was a lot of fresh faces and younger people who are a little bit more in tune with the raw era and everything that's happening to take up these leadership roles. And I think that has been massively helpful in having like a very cohesive federation. Like, don't get me wrong, we have our issues in our federation, we have our beefs, we have all this stuff going on. But for the most part, most people get along, and the policies and the selection processes that we have in place are for the lifters. They're not to gatekeep. They're not to try and hold people out that we have grudges against. You know, like we let all our World Powerlifting people back in. You know, there was no like saying, nah, sorry, you're affiliated with so-and-so, we'll keep you out. And I think that level of like openness and kind of like fresh thinking has really allowed us to thrive. So yeah, I mean, alongside that, bro, something I was thinking about the other day is like, you know, like Aussie doesn't really have like lifters that have been at the top end for a long time. Like you think about, so our 5 podium places from Worlds, we had Tim Monagatti. He's been competing at Worlds since 2018. Evie competing at Worlds since 2018. This is like 5 or 6 years. They've done all like 5 or so World Championships. Megan Lee Smith, 2019 Junior World Champion. Carlina Tongatia, she like fresh to the IPF, but she did all these World Championship comps for World Powerlifting. Same with Jill Tussey. These people have been competing at high levels for a long time. Like, you don't really see that in Australia. Like, there is no one that's like, yeah, I'm going to commit to doing 5 World Championships and then just keep going and see where I can get to.
It does seem like we have a pretty short shelf life
100%, bro.
for like a lifting career.
Yeah.
And I look like someone like myself who's been competing since 2014.
Yeah.
If I was more talented, I might be at the top.
Yeah.
Or more dedicated.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem like people stick around more than sort of 5 years seems to be like the limit for most people.
Yeah, and I think
before they just get distracted and go and do something else. Is it because your weather sucks and you got nothing to do outside?
Bro, that is one of my theories. Is like there's fuck all to do in New Zealand. So I feel like it's an environment that's conducive to like just
monotony.
Just gonna exactly. Like you know, like to be good at powerlifting, you have to do the same shit over and over. You can't really like go out and do a whole lot. Your life needs to be super consistent. And I think that like, you know, when you're in New Zealand, like there's just not a lot doing. And you come over here, right? And like I'm dealing with this at the moment. There's a lot to do, right? You know, there's things that kind of occupy your brain elsewhere and possibly more appealing options. Whereas like, you know, and don't get me wrong, I love powerlifting, but I do feel like there is a level of like, it fills the spot of boredom in a place like New Zealand. And, you maybe not so much Auckland where I come from, but places like some people live out really rural and there's like absolutely fuck all to do around there. And of course, like some people just like to live that sort of life, right? So don't get me wrong, but I do feel like that plays a part in it. But I think we're lucky to have success at this level because these really gifted lifters are not only gifted, but they're committed to going to these world championships and sticking to it and like just going on and on with the journey and the process.
Yeah, and I think Australia is getting there.
Yeah.
And in particular in the last few years, like we had a decent run around 2016. Like the Colleen Worlds was probably like our best world team that we've ever had, with a lot of people who were veterans at the time. I don't know if anyone like did particularly well from like a placing standpoint, but that was like our strongest team in total. But it seems like we're getting back to that level where there's a lot of people who are dedicated to doing 5+ years.
It's so hard here, bro. Like you've had so many issues with federations and splits, and like that just doesn't help, right?
I think that really held us back. Yeah. Like, like I said, 2016 was probably our most competitive year, and then all the Robert Wilkes drama happened at the end of 2017. Yeah. Then we had the split, and then it's kind of there's still a big divide.
And that's kind of happened to you guys at a time where the sport has boomed. That was that's the opportunity to get in, and now you're way behind.
And we've also got a lot of lifters who went away from the IPF.
Yeah.
Like went to the untested federations or were already in the untested federations by then. Like if you look at the all-time best totals, like non-drug tested, Australia is in there like quite a few times. But we don't have any natty.
Well, that's it's probably a bigger culture here too, like of not just untested powerlifting, but like doing other federations. Like you don't really get that in New Zealand. Like people just compete in the NZPF. Like don't get me wrong, we have other federations, but they just are nowhere near as popular. And like even our untested lifting, I mean, to be fair, like I can't speak on it too much because it's just not something I follow. Like I don't have the energy to follow untested lifting that much. But it's also not that popular in New Zealand. So like I think that draws a lot of people just naturally to the NZPF, and like in our IPF affiliate.
Yeah, when you have lifters who are, like Evie and Tim and the others, like people coming into the sport look up to them, and then they go to that federation. That's what we used to have with people like JP and Liz, Ken McKenzie, etc.
And you need that with your good lifters,
it's just coming back.
Yeah. You need like the guy who's gonna be good in 5 years to see someone like Liz on the world stage and be like, I can do that.
And that's what we had.
Yeah.
And then
it fell off.
And then it was like who's the biggest person in Australian powerlifting? It's probably Sebastian Oreb.
Is he? Really?
But he doesn't compete anymore, but he's probably the most
influential
known strength athlete / coach in Australia.
Yeah,
I would
true.
say.
That's a good point.
So that's siphoning people down in that direction as well. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just we need to kind of get people back on the world stage, fighting for podiums. Like obviously Vicky was close this year. She came fourth.
Yeah, Vicky was great.
And there's a few others who are sort of on their way there, I guess.
Like I can't help but think like, fuck, it's such a good opportunity here. Like you guys have such a strong sporting nation, which could also be another issue, right? Like, because sports so
spread too thin.
There's a lot of sports here, and it's super big. So, why would you do powerlifting if you could go play footy?
Well, why would you play rugby union as well? That's dying.
Exactly. It's even dying in New Zealand, bro. Straight up, no one watches rugby anymore, which is a good thing.
Up the wires.
Up the fucking wires. But I think like you just walk down the street, right? And you think, fuck, there's some good powerlifters here as well. And you've got like a good mix of like ethnicities as well, because, certain people are good at like lifting. And I think that really, like, I just see such a good opportunity here for, is a really good environment to build a really good powerlifting federation. But it's just, it's just marred by all the stuff in the history, which is, that's tough. But, in 10 years, it'll be forgotten and it'll be more cohesive. And I think you'll see Australia actually really fulfill their potential.
I think the interest for Worlds and the improvement for the people who are sort of in that class of lifter is improving, and that sort of like crop are growing. Like Nationals is getting more and more competitive in every federation in Australia every year.
Yeah,
which I think is helpful. Well, going to be helpful.
Yeah, it's just getting that cohesion in the federations, eh? But you know, the more the IPF grows, the more Sheffield grows, all that sort of stuff. You'll see Aussies being like, I don't care what's going on with the federations. I want to do that, which I think you already kind of see, right? So, yeah, I think we do well because our federation is strong, and I think that our federation listens to the lifters, and it's there to help the lifters in as much as possible. But we're also very lucky that we have these extremely talented, extremely dedicated top-end lifters that are willing to put in the money and the time that it takes to get them to world championships year after year. And I think that does really it provides a pathway, which is really important to be able to see other people doing it.
Yeah. We've talked some good shit today. But I got one more question for you.
Hit me, bro.
If you could change one thing about the powerlifting world, what would you change?
Oh, get rid of bench only. Actually, kind of in that vein, and like what we were just talking about, is just more unification, less federations, less bench only, less deadlift only, just more. And I understand that like every sport has its iterations. Like you've got 7s, 9s, you've got T20s. Cool, all good, but I don't think we're big enough to be able to like have equipped and raw and just add to the confusion. So I think generally like more unification, less fucking politics would be nice.
Well, I mean, that's a problem in every sport.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I think everyone probably wants that, but it's super hard to avoid.
And I think the more that it grows, the worse that will get.
Yeah, 100%. So, I mean, I think overall, just like if you could have more people competing under the same banner, I think that's all I would want to see, bro. Yeah, I think we're heading that way.
So if you could like set up, if you like, let's say someone was like, all right, Jason, you're the czar of powerlifting, like you're in charge for the world. How would you set it up? What would you do? Like, would you do one untested fed, one tested fed, but they're under the same umbrella?
No, under different umbrellas, because there's obviously like lots of stipulations with WADA and stuff. But yeah, you actually make a really good point, because you have to have the tested federation because people want to go down that route, and that's completely fine. And I think that is a unique benefit to powerlifting, is that there are tested federations, so it keeps, not completely, but it keeps people who want to take anabolics in the federation, they've got a place that they can do it, as opposed.
And there's no stigma as well.
Yeah, there's no stigma at all, and it allows the drug-free or the drug-tested federation to probably have less carryover from there. So yeah, for sure, 100% have both, but I don't think you could have them under the same banner.
And what about the rules? Would it all be classic?
Power bars, classic.
All classic. No
fuck deadlift bars, fuck squat bars, fuck bench only, fuck equipped.
No knee wraps.
It's just confusing, right? Like,
yeah, it is. Yeah,
it's like what you were saying before. You know how you're like, I'm all in on one sport, or a couple of sports. I'm all in on like raw drug-free powerlifting. I can't be bothered paying attention to deadlift bars or squat bars or equipped or bench. Oh, I mean, bench only. I coached a little bit of that begrudgingly, but
I think the big thing is like if we want it to grow, and there are 30 iterations of the exact same thing.
Yeah,
like how confusing is that to the consumer?
Yeah,
who's coming in and going, okay, well this guy did 450.
Yeah,
and this guy did 350.
Yeah,
let's say on squat. Like if this guy's done more, then how's the 350 more impressive? And then you got to go, okay, well, he had to walk his out. He did it on a stiff bar, so it was whipping around a little bit more. He had to walk it out. He was wearing knee sleeves and not knee wraps. He's not wearing a squat suit.
He's on gear.
And the other guy's on gear.
Yeah.
Like, that's so many things to have to explain to someone who just wants to, like, go turn up to a gym and do a squat.
And at that point, they've gone, oh, yeah, cool, I don't actually care that much.
And they don't really understand it. If you go, oh, okay, the squat suit, does this and you got to fight against it and then it helps you out of the bottom. It's like,
Yeah. Like they're like, why would you want that?
that doesn't make any sense. It's
So you see where I'm coming from there?
Yeah,
like,
100%.
If you could just dull it down to the point where everybody's doing the same thing and, there's 2 federations, I think that would it just makes it that more consumable. And it would, you think about like some of the people that lift in the USAPL, for example, how desperate are they to get to like IPF World Championship? If you had everybody doing their best at the same comp, it would be so much better. Whereas like, you get like, think about like, what's his name? The guy that won the 74s, Carl Johnson or Kelly Johnson, Johansson.
Johansson, yeah.
Yeah, he, he wins world championships and then Austin Perkins goes and does 851 or whatever. And it's like, oh, well, it kind of like shits on that, but does it? It's like, it's just, I just hate that sort of stuff. I think it just isn't good for the sport. But I understand why it's happening. I know it's not just like an easy fix, but I think it would just make the sport so much better to not have all these like these things that are kind of getting in the way, these stipulations, if you will.
One idea that I like, which I haven't heard anyone talk about, is at World Championships allowing more lifters from the countries who performed better at the previous year.
Yeah.
To have more entries.
I think it's an interesting one, eh?
So like an idea that I have is like, if let's take America, let's say America won the men's best team.
Yeah.
They now get the ability to bring 16 lifters for their men's team the following year.
Yeah.
And they can put them in whatever weight classes they want. And the team that came second, maybe they get 14 or 13. And then so and so down.
Because that's just another way of getting all the best lifters in the same room, right?
Yeah, because essentially what you want is the world championships to reflect the best in the world, not just the best from each country in the world.
Well, you could even just have like a standard, right? Let's say you have, let's use your weight class, for example. If you total over 870, you get an invite no matter what. And you do it in like an IPF affiliated competition. Because at that point, if you're totaling over 870, you should be there.
Yeah, exactly right.
So you could almost do it on the individual level, and yet they would still represent their country, but it's like they need to be there because they're right up there, and maybe they just lost their national championships. Like, I've lost my national championships, but I've made the total that I need to hit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a good idea.
You see this in the Olympics, like the 100-meter sprint.
Yeah.
Like there's been 3 medals from all Americans.
Yeah.
It's like, why can't that be the
How
case?
do they do it, you know?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But I know that the country... Chris said steroids is how they do it.
Not how do they run, mate. How do they do their qualifying process?
I think it's similar to what I was saying before, in that the countries that do better get more entries, or potentially it is like you said, you reach a qualifying time and then you get in.
Like maybe you have like an A qualifier, which is just to get. Well, it's another really good question actually, because like again, let's use the 93s for example. There was 4 full flights worth of 93s at Worlds this year. Like that, it was like 48 or some shit like that, whatever it is. And it's like, at what point do you put up a qualifying total and say you can only go to Worlds unless you hit this total? Because you're getting like so many people who, I mean, I get it, right? It's good for anyone to go to Worlds, and I appreciate that. They get a lot out of it, especially like the lesser federations, and then they can take that back and their experiences and all that. But fuck, at what point are you like, you're having like an E flight for the 93s? What do you think about that?
Well, it's a hard one because at the same time, like you want what I said before with
the
best in the world to be there.
Yeah.
But then we also want the other thing, which is country representation.
Yes.
Which is what we were talking about just before with, seeing JP, seeing Liz, seeing Cam McKenzie at Worlds. That motivates the next crop. And without that, is there any actual like desire to go to Worlds from those countries who don't have any representation there? Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, I totally get what you mean.
It's like, how do you find the line between like what's best for the competition and then what's best for growing those countries as well?
Yeah, I totally get that. But I'm just like, I think it's going to get to a point where they're just going to have to they're going to have to put up something, because they don't have the time to do all these flights for all these people.
Well, there definitely
they
has
keep
to,
adding member nations.
there definitely has to be a minimum. Like, so to take the 93s, for example, like if you win in Pakistan
Yeah.
and you totaled 550
Yeah.
in the 93s, like that's just not enough to go to
Yeah,
Worlds.
that's what I mean. There
Yeah,
should be a minimum, right? And it doesn't have to be high, but it has to be
It
enough
has
to be like.
pretty high.
But then, like you said, you still want people to be represented. Like you want nations to be represented, and you want them to take that back and to be able to grow that sport. But yeah, I don't think it. I mean, like what would you? Let's say 93s. What would you have it as?
Probably 750
Yeah, I think that would be fine.
because 750 you're a elite lifter.
Yeah.
You're pretty close to a 500 dots.
Yeah,
Probably a little bit below.
I don't
Probably
fuck with dots.
Probably like 480,
Yeah.
485, somewhere in there, off the top of my head. Like you're a world class lifter, but you're not going to win.
No. Yeah, I think it would be good.
Should it be a percentage of the world record? Like you got to be within 90%. You got to be within 10% of the world record, or within 15% of the world record.
I mean, it would be a good way of doing it. You have to draw the line somewhere, so you'd probably have to do something like that.
Because then that at least makes it even across.
But then again,
all
if
weight
you have
classes.
like an old record like Fedoshenko's, like we're talking about, that could really fuck some people over.
True, you might get like 4 people in the 50
Yeah.
lines.
Just think you got to have something, and it's more like Open Worlds was massive this year. It's like you got to draw the line in the sand somewhere, just because it's a strain on like the volunteers more than anything, and it's like it's a full week of lifting, which is great, and I love how much it's grown. But yeah, there's just a lot of people. There's a lot of people competing.
So there were 44 lifters in the 93s.
I think it was 48. Bro.
Was that from 48 different countries or like most?
No,
like
well,
40
you
different
get
countries?
double ups, right? You can have 2.
So how many different countries are represented then?
Oh, it must have been heaps.
Yeah.
Probably over 30.
I guess
Which is pretty wild to think about.
one way you could decrease the number is by giving those countries who don't perform as well, you don't give them entries for every single weight class. Maybe you give them entries for
Give them like 5 or something.
3 to 5 for men's, 3 to 5 for women's.
That's just so much admin though. Like trying to figure out where you draw the line in the sand for that specific country, and like trying to weigh up what each country deserves in terms of entries and things like that.
Well, then you just have a minimum, which is like every country gets this many,
Yeah.
provided they qualify.
Yeah.
And then the top countries get more, and then you just figure out some sort of scale.
Yeah. I guess you could do it that way. I think a qualifying total is the best way to go. Just have a standard that you have to hit to meet. Because at the moment it's just nominate whoever you want.
But I think you need that anyway, though. You need the qualifying total anyway.
Yeah.
And then you need the countries who perform better.
Giving them more.
Give them more. Countries who don't perform as well, don't give them as many.
I think you have a qualifying total, and then you have that top end total like we talked about, just to let in like like someone like, you think about like the 93s in America, like Gavin Aiden might not even make it to Worlds this year, and like he should be there.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I think, yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting conversation.
Yeah,
Because
imagine like if we were to
The thing is,
draw,
it's developing so quickly.
imagine if we draw the line to sprinting
Yeah.
and like the third fastest guy in the world can't go to the Olympics. Like that's essentially what we're doing here
Yeah.
with some of these
See,
Americans.
that's pretty fucked.
Yeah, that's
You
essentially
don't want that.
that's essentially what we are doing here with some of these Americans.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, America only gets 1 per weight class and 1 wild card.
Yeah. No, you want to have them there.
Yeah.
I don't know if it makes me really think actually, like, are they even looking at that? Like IPF, are they wondering about how to manage all that?
If you need a new president,
This dude, bro, he's on. You got to start with the APU first, mate.
I think it's a good point to wrap it up
Yeah, that'll do it, bro.
before I get in any trouble.
Yeah, sweet.
Thanks for joining me, bro.
All good, brother. Appreciate it.